Hi, welcome to another episode of Pet Pals. I'm Bethany Davidson, the Humane Educator here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. And animal wrangling for us, as always, is our volunteer, Tammy Benson. Our first guest is an animal that's been on the show before. This is Oakley. Oakley was adopted from us not that long ago, and then he was returned shortly thereafter. Oakley is a 6-year-old German Shepherd Black Lab mix, and he is a good dog with a lot of potential, but he does have some quirks. Because of that, we are asking that he go to a home where the children are at least 13 years old or older. We're also asking that whoever adopts him have German Shepherd experience. Sometimes they have traits that are specific to their breed, and if you're not familiar with those, it can make it hard to train and deal with their energy level and just some other behavioral things. And then the last thing that we're asking is that his new owner have no small dogs, cats, or exotics. And when I say exotics, I mean things like small animals. We don't want you to have hamsters, rats, guinea pigs, rabbits, any of those types of things. Oakley has a very high prey drive, and he doesn't know that those other animals are pets. He thinks that they are something for him to hunt. So for the safety of everyone, we're sending him to a home where none of those animals live and exist. That being said, outside, he's going to chase squirrels and birds and other things like that. So those are kind of the restrictions that we have for Oakley. He does know basics. He loves to catch and play fetch. He loves to run around and play with toys. He does have a fairly high amount of energy. He knows sits and paw and some things like that. We do encourage you to fully read through his profile. You're going to see some things that might cause some questions for you. Ask the staff. We are well versed in all the animals' behavior that live here with us, and we can help you decide whether or not this is going to be a good fit for you. But when we are doing our adoption interviews, which are part of our process, and we give you instructions on how to properly integrate one of our shelter residents into your home, it's really important that you follow that. Following those instructions based on what we know about the animal will lead to a success. If you are interested in him, you can stop in and visit with him here at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. Our next guest is a little smaller. This is Sage, and he is one of our puppies on the adoption floor. He's 10 to 11 months old, and he is a very special dog. He's very sweet and he's very playful, but he's also a very fearful dog. So we are looking for a special home for him so that he can learn that the world isn't such a scary place. He might not seem like it now, but he's in an environment where he's been before. He's with people that he's met before, that he associates as good people who have given him treats. So he's feeling a little bit more comfortable right now than maybe he would in some other situations. Sage was brought to us after someone owned him for about 2 months, and puppies, they don't come fully trained because they are puppies. They're babies and children, and they need someone to train them. So because he's not house trained, they brought him to us. He does know sit, so he does have the ability to learn things. Sometimes it just takes a little bit longer, and it takes more of a commitment than maybe some people are prepared to do. Keeping in mind that he's going to need some work with that house training. Our kennel staff, when they tested him, they noticed that he's very cautious. He's very fearful. When he's scared, he does do like a whine and a growl. So just approaching him with not, I don't want to say caution, but just being sensitive to his fears and being slow and going low to the ground so you're not intimidating will be really helpful. There was a visitor who was looking at him a couple days ago, and they just sat in front of his kennel very quietly talking to him. That's kind of the way that you want to go with Sage. When you try to acquire him, he's fearful, but again, once he gets comfortable with someone, he's kind of like he is right now. He's nervous when he's walking a little bit, He just needs someone to help boost his confidence. Training can be a great way to do that. Depending on the person, when you pet him, he can really enjoy the touch, or he can get uncomfortable. Because he's so nervous, he does seem to be more nervous of men than women. We are definitely looking for a house for him with older children. 13 and up is what we're looking for him. Definitely understanding dog body language, maybe being a more experienced pet owner would be beneficial. And just being patient is what he's going to need. Because he is a puppy, he will be adopted for that puppy, through that puppy process, where we're going to take more applications, and his adoption fee will be $150. Our next guest became one of my favorites in about 30 seconds. That's all it took for me to fall in love with Miss Angel here. Angel is a 5-year-old American Bulldog mix. And as is plain to see, she's a bit of a big girl. She weighs in at 114 pounds. And this can be what happens when you choose to show how much you love your dog with food. So putting them on a diet is sometimes the best way to show your love. Just giving them everything they want, sometimes not so much. So she needs to lose about 30 to 40 pounds is what our vet is looking for Angel. But the good news is that she's not really into the food that we have here, so it's making her diet plan easy, because she eats what she needs, not all she wants. And the other thing is that she loves to go outside. She will actually run and play. Just have to limit that. You don't want her to be breathing too hard, because we want to be cautious of her heart, and then also her hip. She has a little arthritis and things like that. But once she starts shedding those pounds, I know she's just going to come alive, because she's so playful, so active, so loving. She just needs someone who's going to be committed to her diet plan. It's going to be really important to ensure that she has a long, healthy life. Right now, we're suggesting that she not walk up on inclines, things like that, but she can go walk. We take her out daily, multiple times. I take her in the play yard, and she likes to chase you and run around. But when she's ready to stay where she wants to go, she will do this and put all 114 pounds into it, and she's not going anywhere. So she was adopted from us as a kind of a malnourished puppy 5 years ago, and her owner took great care of her, maybe overcompensated a little bit on the food department, moved to Florida, was having serious landlord issues, unable to find a place where she could go and keep Angel with her. So because the shelters there are in a more municipal area, more urban area, unsure that they would be able to find her another loving home, Angel's mom drove her all the way back up here from Florida so that she could be returned to us, which is always what we ask, and we could find her a loving home. That was just about a week ago, and now Angel is on our adoption floor looking for her new forever family. Because she is a senior, she would be adopted for $72.50. Our next guest is one of our longtime residents. This is, we say Drago, some people say Drago. If you're a Rocky fan, then you'll probably say Drago. He came to us as a previously owned dog. They did not tell us why they were relinquishing him, but he's been here since September. He's been on the adoption floor since October. Still hasn't found a family to call his own. Our volunteers have nothing but good things to say about Drago. He is super sweet, super affectionate. He's very smart. He's very playful. He's a high energy dog, and he would love to be out of the shelter and in a loving home as quickly as possible. He just has so much energy. He kind of paces around. He's bored. He just emotionally, it can be hard for some of the dogs to be here when they're not getting love and affection, a lot of activity and as much enrichment as they need. We try to give them as much as possible, but sometimes it's just not enough for these guys. Because of the stress of living in the shelter, he's lost a little bit of weight, but we're working on getting him back to his fighting weight, if you will. He's also had some issues with his tummy. So he has a very sensitive digestive tract, and our vet and our medical staff is doing all that they can to identify what the potential problem is. They've ruled out several things, and they're trying to figure out whether it's just the stress of being in the shelter or if it's something underlying medically. Otherwise, he's, other than the sensitive stomach, he is a healthy, active, intelligent, loving, affectionate dog who would be a great addition to most families. We do ask that he go to a home with children over the age of 10. The reason for that being that he is kind of interested in everything. When you're handling his mouth, he becomes very uncomfortable. He's a little intense about his food. So we want to make sure that we send him to a home where the kids are old enough to understand, while he's eating, don't bother him. He doesn't like to have his mouth touched, so don't, mess with his mouth. Don't try to take toys from him, those types of things. But he's very friendly. He has a favorable reaction to most dogs. And he's just looking for somebody who's going to give him all of the love and activity that he needs to have a full, complete life. We decided to end the canine portion of the show today with some puppy love. This is Noelle, and she is a 5 to 6 month old pit bull puppy. And she is super cute, and she is looking for her new forever home here this holiday season. She came to us as a stray, so we're still figuring things out about her personality, but she's very outgoing, and she's very happy, and she is a beautiful brindle in white. She has a lot of the great basics. She just needs someone to provide her with the training that she needs to go all the way to being a great dog. She is pretty good about using the outside run or separate kennel to go potty, which is good for a puppy. She's very friendly. She reacts favorably to other dogs. She's easy to obtain. She does need to work on her polite leash walking because she does pull and jump up on people. She just hasn't learned those things yet. She doesn't really have issues with food aggression. She loves to be petted. So she is going to be great as a starter. As long as you're willing to commit to training your puppy. If you do have another dog in the house, we do recommend that you bring your dog in to meet with any of our adoptable dogs just to make sure that there's no kind of signs that it's just definitely not going to work. Some dogs just don't like each other. She might be, as a puppy, too overwhelming for maybe your older dog or a more shy dog, or maybe you have a big dog that's just, makes her afraid. There's all kinds of things that could happen, so you want to make sure that they come in and they meet. You can stop in and visit her here at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. Our visitation hours are Monday, Tuesday, and Friday from 10 to 5, Wednesday and Thursday from 12 to 8, and Saturday from 10 to 4, and the adoption fee for Miss Noelle would be $150. We want to thank you for tuning in and meeting some of our fantastic canines that are available for adoption. If you're more into felines, stay tuned and we'll introduce you to some of those after the break.
Catoctin Creek Nature Center is excited to offer field trips year-round for public, private, and homeschooled students from pre-K through high school. A hands-on experience will allow students to discover and explore the wildlife in the Piedmont region of Maryland. Topics will include Catoctin Creek critters, investigating insects, and seasons of change. Having fun, exploring, and educating are the components that make Catoctin Creek Nature Center such an excellent resource for outdoor education. For more information or to schedule a field trip, please call our main office at 301-600-2936 or visit us on the web at www.recreator.com.
Many volunteer opportunities are available on Frederick County boards and commissions, whether the Commission on Aging, Human Relations Commission, the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, Workforce Development Board, or many others. Those desiring to serve must be residents and registered voters of Frederick County. For more information, contact Joyce Grosnickel at 301-600-1102 or by email at fcgboards@frederickcountymd.gov.
Welcome back. First cat up for today on the show is one of the many black cats that we have available for adoption right now. Sometimes it can be hard for these guys to stand out because they're all, they kind of blend in with their dark cages. There's no, color or spot that sets them apart from the other ones. So they can tend to hang out a little bit longer, not because they're not great cats, but just, there's just something about them that doesn't necessarily draw people's eyes in. This is Linus, and he is harder to take notice because Linus likes to do something that's pretty funny. He likes to sleep under his bed, but if you go up to his cage and knock or say, "Hey Linus," then he pops his head right out. He just likes a little privacy, and he likes his visitors to announce themselves, I guess. He is 7 years old, so he's pretty set in his personality. He's not into cat carriers. He did not enjoy that. But once he came out here, I put him right on Tammy's lap. He was perfectly happy. He's looking around, he's alert, but he's purring, he's kneading. He's not necessarily trying to escape like some of our other cats in the past have. And now, as I say that, he's going to try to prove me wrong. One of the things that really sets him apart, he might not have a color in his fur that is different looking, but his face is definitely a little more unique than some of the other black cats. He has a very long kind of muzzle, very defined features, very strong guy. And he's just super sweet, and he's kind of laid back, and he needs a loving home. Because he is a senior at 7 years old, he would be adopted through our senior reduced pricing. So instead of $97.50, he would be adopted for $77.50, which not because our seniors are worth any less, but sometimes they do have extra medical needs, so that can help with that cost. Or sometimes they just get overlooked because people think they're a little older. I want something that I'll have for longer. So it can be a nice incentive to get an amazing cat home for whatever time they may have left. And for a cat like Linus here, that could still be another 10 years or more. Cats can live anywhere from 10 to 20 years depending on some various factors. So if you want to take super sweet Linus home with you, you can stop in and visit with him here at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. This pretty little girl is Lilo, and she is one of our older kittens at 6 months old. If you were tuned in last week, then you heard about our December promotion. So because we have a large number of kittens, really young kittens straight back from foster care and older kittens alike, all of our cats that are under a year old will be going home for an adoption fee of just $50 during the month of December, and Lilo falls into that category. She is a beautiful gray and white cat, and she has lived with another cat. Her brother Stitch was actually recently adopted, so now she's on her own looking for a new home. She loves attention, is not afraid to ask for it. She's a little bit of a talker in that regard, but she can calm down and cuddle up in her bed. She's very sweet. She loves attention and affection. She might be the cat that follows you around, because she wants to be near you, wants you to cuddle her, pet her. But one thing that she is doing here in the shelter is she's being a social eater, which means that she likes people to pet her, talk to her, encourage her to eat. We are still trying to figure out what food she likes and will eat on her own. So if you walk by her cage, you're going to see that there is a large amount of food there for her. We want to give her options, and then when we find out which one she really likes, then that's what we'll start feeding her more consistently. She's you know, more defined in her personality because she's not as young as some of the other kittens. So if you're thinking about a lot of people want a kitten so that their kids can grow up with them, those types of things, but you don't want to start at the very bottom where, you know, they are a little bit more unpredictable, a bit more, you know, needy, requiring a lot more activity, things like that. Then you can start with an older kitten, and Lilo would be perfect for that. She and her brother were brought to us because their owner just said she couldn't take care of them by herself. They'd had them since they were young kittens, about 4.5 months. She's just a typical kitten. They do say that she's a lap cat, and I have seen her cuddling up on some laps on the adoption floor. Friendly, playful, energetic. She is all of those things and more. So if you want to make Lilo part of your family, the first step is going to be to come in here and visit with her. Everybody that lives in the household has to visit the animal, put in that application. It takes about 2 to 5 days for us to process those. Her adoption fee, as I mentioned earlier, during the month of December would be just $50. Another one of the black cats on the adoption floor is Bev, and Bev is a diamond in the rough. So we have our adoption fees. So for her, because she's 2 to 3 years old, it will be $97.50. But Colonial Jewelers has been working with us for about a year now, and they sponsor portions of the adoption fee for 5 animals. So we select animals that we think you know, would benefit from a little bit of extra promotion. Colonial Jewelers helps us do that. They share it on their social media and so forth, and then they would pay $20 towards those diamond in the rough adoption fees. So Bev is one of those this month. So if you were to adopt her instead of $97.50, she would go home for $77.50 this month. She did come to us as a stray, but we've quickly found out that she is one of the sweetest cats on the adoption floor. She is a total lap cat. Every time I walk by, she's sitting on someone's lap. In fact, when I had to go get her for the show, she was sitting on someone's lap, and so now she's a little annoyed that she's been disturbed. She likes to have her chin rubbed, but she is still curious. Last night she was sitting on a lap and she saw an opportunity to go explore, so she hopped right down and went on a little walkabout the cat adoption floor. So she has plenty of personality. She will play with you. She will, you know, still be fairly independent, wanting to go explore, but she will cuddle up with you on the couch at the end of the day. So she's a great mix, and hopefully we'll be able to find her a new forever home as soon as possible. I would love to see all of these cats find homes for the holidays. Again, if you are interested in Bev or any of the animals that you see on the show, the first step is to come in and visit with them, read their medical profiles, have your entire family interact with them, put in that application, and go from there. We do require an interview before we are able to send any of the animals home. All of our animals will be spayed or neutered. They are up to date on their vaccines, they're microchipped, and so on. Bev is already spayed, so she would be a quick turnaround if you were to make her part of your family. Our next guest is Shortbread, and we named her that because she's short something. She's missing a tail. It's not even like it's bobbed. She just has no tail at all. And that's kind of how she got her name. It's Christmas time, cookies, kind of all fit together really well for her. She is about 6 to 8 months old. She did come in as a stray, so she does qualify for our Dear Santa promotion. So all of the kittens are writing to Santa, asking for new homes for the holidays, so we're reducing their adoption fees. So anything under a year would go home for an adoption fee of just $50. She is a beautiful white and brown tabby cat. I was trying to figure out who to put on the show today, and she was suggested by the staff. Staff has quickly fallen in love with Shortbread, and she's very cute and cuddly. One thing that I did notice is, aside from the fact that she didn't want to go into the carrier, that she did give a couple hisses at the other cats when I picked her up and she saw them. So, you know, if you do plan on making Shortbread part of your family and you have other cats, maybe doing a really slow introduction to the other pets, just so she can feel comfortable. It is important to know that when you're adding multiple animals to a household, they don't have to get along. They don't necessarily have to like each other. They don't have to cuddle. They just have to tolerate each other and not hurt one another. So just being independent and indifferent and coexisting is what we're really looking for. You know, we would love it if they cuddled, but it's not necessarily necessary. Before she leaves, she will be spayed. We've already microchipped her. She'll get her rabies vaccine, distemper vaccine. She's been dewormed. She's gotten flea and tick preventative. She did have a bit of an upper respiratory infection, so we've treated her for that, and now she's healthy and back out on our adoption floor. We also give you a free well visit to the vet when you adopt from us, so you really can't beat what you're getting. And if you adopt her in December, you're getting all of that for just $50. Shortbread is available for visits 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. That's going to be Monday, Tuesday, and Friday from 10 to 5, Wednesday and Thursday from 12 to 8, and Saturday from 10 to 4. We went from one extreme to the other. We had Shortbread, who had no tail, and now we have Muffin, who has the longest, poofiest, most luxurious tail on the adoption floor. Muffin is about 2 years old. She's a domestic long hair, and she's a brown tabby. She is a beautiful girl, but the price of having such long, beautiful fur just means you really have to groom it if you are going to be Muffin's owner. You got to make sure that she's getting brushed so that her fur doesn't get matted and tangled. That can be uncomfortable for her. So it is a little bit of an extra responsibility when you're getting a cat with longer fur. She was brought to us and surrendered because it says here not allowed to keep her with 2 dogs. So that could mean a couple of things. It could mean either that she didn't get along with the dogs, or in a lot of apartment complexes, things like that, you're only allowed to have 2 pets. So there's pet limits, and if she was the 3rd, they only had her for about a month, they might have had to surrender her instead of the dogs that they had for a longer period of time. So it doesn't give us any description more than that. So take that into consideration if you do have dogs in your home and you're looking to make Muffin part of your family. Otherwise, it says she's very calm, able to handle, she's independent, playful, energetic. She can be a little bit nervous. That's not uncommon. You know, loud noises, things like the vacuum or strangers rushing up to them too quickly can be a little nerve-wracking for any animal and any person. She came right down to see me when I opened her cage. She was happy to be greeted and petted. She wasn't hard for me to put in the carrier, and she's quite content hanging out on Tammy's lap. She's exploring, but she's not doing the fighting to get down, clawing up the side of the chair type of a thing, which is what's nice when you get a cat that is an adult. They're over a lot of those kitten behaviors, and I prefer a little bit of an older cat personally for those reasons. She's lived in a home before, so that means that maybe she has some manners about her, maybe not clawing furniture. It says she does use her scratch pad, not sitting on counters and tables and stuff like that. So those are some of the many benefits of adopting an adult cat over a kitten. It says here that she likes to play with balls. She is on one of the bottom cages, so sometimes it can be hard to see her, but she's definitely worth taking a look at. You want to make sure that if you're looking for the right pet for you, you're checking out every animal and not just the ones that are at eye level, because unfortunately we can't have every cage at eye level, so you got to look around a little bit more. Some cats are more willing to reach out and grab you, and others are a little bit more reserved. So just taking a full look at all of your options before making a decision on who you want to make part of your family. If you want to make Muffin that new family member, you can visit her here at Frederick County Animal Control. Our address is 1832 Rosemont Avenue. We want to thank you for tuning in, and we want to remind everyone again that during December we're having our Dear Santa promotion, where all of our kittens have written letters to Santa asking for homes for the holidays. So all of those kittens, that's any cat under a year old, will go home for an adoption fee of just $50. We hope that you enjoyed meeting some of the animals on our show, and we hope that you'll tune in again next week when we introduce you to several more.